Their receivers have cost them minimally 3 games this year. That's nobody's fault but the head coach slash GM.
Welcome into the fifth quarter. Claudette Montana, Robin Lundberg, and Dakota London here to break down some of the top storylines around the NFL. We got to start with the Kansas City Chiefs guys and Patrick Mahomes, who were pretty livid after a costly offsides penalty. Patrick Mahomes' reaction also went pretty viral after the game. Robin, was that a bad look for him?
Well, yeah, of course it was a little bit of a bad look for Patrick Mahomes, considering everybody's like, yo, bro, they called the correct thing right there. He was clearly offsides, and pointing out that the Chiefs have gotten the benefit of some flags in the past. Now, I get it. Mahomes is frustrated in that moment. The Chiefs have lost a lot of games they probably should have won. Heck, Kadarius Toney has now lost them 2 games himself. So a lot of that boils over, and he's also thinking to himself, this has no impact on the actual play. It's not like Kadarius Toney lining up offsides is what changed the outcome there. So not only did they lose an all-time great play that Travis Kelce made, they lost a play that likely would have won them the game over something that he's never seen called before. So you get that level of frustration. Still, he was doing too much with the reaction.
If Patrick Mahomes is upset, he should be upset with his head coach, Andy Reid. They walked into this season deciding that they were not going to prioritize having a star wide receiver for Pat to throw to. Their receivers have cost them minimally 3 games this year. That's nobody's fault but the head coach slash GM. You know that you have an otherworldly talent at quarterback. He has to throw the ball to somebody. And it's been an issue all season. They also didn't make any moves at the trade deadline. As somebody who had Andy Reid as a coach with the Eagles, it was the same problem when he was in Philly. Other than the Terrell Owens year, the Eagles never had a wide receiver that was a guy that could be consistently relied upon. And this is what Pat is dealing with now. So he has nobody to be upset with but the guy calling the plays for him.
The Dallas Cowboys got their revenge on the Eagles, handing them their 3rd loss of the season. Back-to-back losses for the Eagles. Dakota, coming to you first on this one. So you are an Eagles fan. Are the Eagles in trouble?
A little bit. A little bit. This is my biggest issue with the Eagles. One, their defense is atrocious. If you can't stop anybody, it doesn't really matter. And the offense isn't operating at the standpoint to where they can outscore everyone. So if your defense is giving up long, sustained drives and giving up touchdowns, I think they gave up like 11 touchdowns on like 12 drives going back to the San Fran game. That's absurd. And like I don't think it's ever been done, but that's atrocious for your defense to be that bad. And then on top of it, the offense isn't operating well for whatever reason, whether it be not being able to run the ball, not good play calls, not good play designs. I'm very concerned. Now, realistically, they can win the next 4 straight and still have the NFC East crown and potentially the number 1 seed if San Fran loses. But based off how they played, I don't have faith that they about to just win the next 4 straight. They could lose next week or the week after that to the Giants. So, yes, I'm concerned. I'm worried. It's bad, y'all. This is bad.
It depends on how you define trouble, because the Eagles are in still good playoff positioning. They're going to be in the playoffs. They have time to fix what ails them right now. Look, the 49ers struggled when they had some guys out of the lineup, and people were wondering whether we boasted too much about them at the beginning of the season. And then they righted the ship. We've seen teams have hiccups during a long season in the past and recover. To me, they got to get that defense in order. And then most importantly, on the other side of the ball, the health of Jalen Hurts, I think, has been an issue for them all year. You know, David Carr sort of blew up for his take about benching Hurts and Mariota because of the extra Parmesan he had in what he said. But the substance of Hurts being hurt does in fact matter, because one element the Eagles are missing from their game that they had a season ago is his legs. Yeah, he can get you 1 yard on the brotherly shove, but you couldn't really stop them last year because they had the wideouts and because the running game was opened up by his ability to run. He has not taken off with the ball in his hands as much this season, and I think that has hamstrung their team.
Well, despite the loss, Eagles still sit at the top of the NFC East, right next to the Dallas Cowboys. Speaking of the Cowboys, they have won their last 5 games. Dak Prescott has this team rolling. Robin, should he be MVP favorite right now?
No. Look, Dak Prescott is having a very good season. No question about it. But how do you simply say at the QB position he should be the MVP over Brock Purdy, who's got the edge over him in many statistical categories and beat them head-to-head? The 49ers absolutely blew the Cowboys out of the building. So I don't think you can say he's the favorite over Brock Purdy. There's other quarterbacks, of course, in the discussion. Lamar Jackson's getting his name back out there. I wouldn't be shocked if Josh Allen's name is in there again if the Bills can make the playoffs. But this, to me, is the year and opportunity to give the MVP to a non-QB. Tua Tagovailoa, another guy in the race. Well, his teammate Tyreek Hill is going to make history this season. And given there is no quarterback who is above the pack and clearly the most valuable player, I'd actually give it to Cheetah.
I gotta agree with Robin. This is a weird year. Like, usually the quarterback who ends up winning the MVP has set himself apart from the rest of the pack. Nobody's going to throw 45, 50 touchdowns. I don't think anybody's going to have 5,500 yards, anything like that. When the season's over, everybody's statistics will be fairly close. You kind of determine it based off wins. So in that case, I probably agree with him and go Brock. But in terms of unworldly performances, I got to go Tyreek. He's going to hit the 2,000-yard mark, and he's going to have double-digit touchdowns, and they're going to be in the playoffs. He's going to be the main reason why their offense is so successful. So if there's any year to give it to somebody that's not a quarterback, it's definitely this year.